Okay, we're going to be setting up a new kit, showing you how to with the Alesis DM10. First things first, you obviously want to go up into the hundreds where all the blank custom sets are. Here I've got 108 because the ones before are some custom ones I've already made. So I'm going to start there. You can start at 100. So first things first is we're going to go and hit note chase, which makes it a lot easier, and I'll show you why in just a second. Okay, so then the next button we're going to hit is edit instrument, and then that's going to come up, and then we're going to hit F1 for instruments, and then that brings up our categories and stuff. Okay, now this is why note chase is great to have. As you can see, it's on the ride right now, but if we are to hit the snare comes up. So I myself like to use the Ludwig 5x14 SS, but if you want to change it, you use the cruiser, go down. Okay, you want to be in snares obviously, and then instruments, and then you use the wheel and you just circle around, and then obviously you can either hit preview, which will give you a sound of it, a great sound, or you can obviously hit it and then go through each one, marching band and so forth. But myself, I prefer the Ludwig 5x14 SS. Okay, then, so as you can see, layer is got an A by it. Now, as you may notice with the preset kits, say Guitar Jam, it's got, when you hit the bass, it's got the bass hit, and then the guitar chug, or basically the guitar power chord. And basically you can double layer these, and how you do that is you hit the same button again, the edit instrument, and as you notice when I hit that button, it switches to B. As you can see, there's none. And then I can go through, I can even go up to snares, and let's say we'll go to electronic percussion bass. So let's say if I wanted to have a bass hit, which would be retarded to have on a snare, but we'll just go with it anyway with the pick. And now I'm going to have a snare and a pick with the bass. As you can see, it sounds a little different. Change it up, crunch bass. So I'm not hearing it. Let's go to guitar. There, now we can hear the difference. You can hear the guitar in there. So that's how you double layer your instruments, but I really don't go for that. I haven't really messed around too much. So basically, we can just take that off by going all the way back, so all the way to the right. Oh, it's an instrument. We just go to none. Okay, so and then we'll go back to layer A. Okay, so then you got your snare. Then next, obviously you want to go to your tom. As you can see, tom comes up, tom 1. And I've got 8x10 MCA. I typically use that. Usually, obviously, if you're not too familiar with drum kits, this is kind of your first thing. You always want to go, 8x10, 10x12, 12x14, 14x16. Obviously, low to high on each one, because they get deeper. So as you notice, my last hit was the percussion 4, which actually is the tom. Actually it says percussion 3. That is the 4th tom, and I got a 12 by 14 on that. And then if you want to do the rims, I myself like to have a tambourine on the first tom. So if you hit the rim, as you can see, tom 1 rim comes up. And as you can see, under category Latin percussion, tambourine, mute, I like to use that. And then I also like to put a cowbell, so I like to put a cowbell on the tom 2 rim. So I hit that, and then as you can see, tom 2 rim, there's a cowbell 3. And then, so once you're done finishing setting up your toms and your snare, then obviously we go to your hi-hat, we hit that. And I prefer the Z60s NB 15-inch. It's a bunch of them, obviously. You can use whatever one you want. And then we go to crash 1 and hit that. I got the ZK Dark 16-inch. And then here's my second one. Okay, so this is actually, when you're setting it up for the first time, it always has a Latin percussion on it. So I will go to, we could do a China, cymbal, or crash. And I prefer, actually like the 16-inch darker, gives a nice dark sound. And then usually, obviously, you don't come with the third crash cymbal. You usually just have the ride. So we'll go back to the ride. So we hit that, and then I use a different ride. I'm not sure which one it is. I believe it's a big stick. Yeah, I use the big stick, if I remember right. Yeah, I like to use that for the ride. It's a good sound. And then obviously we won't worry about the third one because unless you get another cymbal set up, which is with the other open port back here, which would be percussion 4, number 12. I actually just used one of my old cymbals from the DM6 and just hooked it up and ran it through and put it in number 12. Okay, let's see, so pretty much that's how you set everything up. And then level, if you push F2, which is the level on everything, gives you the level. And if you hit down, this is one of many different ways you can set the volume on each of the pads. Obviously go up, it's a higher sound, lower sound. Then the pan is obviously, since this is in stereo, this is right 20, so obviously this is going to be more in your right ear. Actually, I think that's as far as it goes. Actually, it goes further. Up to 50. So, but myself, since I record, I just go and I put it in mid, but it's actually kind of fun to have it when you've got it set up in stereo. But when I record, it just sounds better to be in the middle. Decay I really don't worry about. And the other big thing is, okay, so we get that set up and we'll hit exit. And then we're going to hit exit trigger. And then there's the sensitivity. You can go up and down on that. But curved, this is another big one, which is F3. Now, this log, this is basically how your each hit diminishes, or vice versa. I prefer the log, pretty much the log 2 and 3. And let's see, so since we got it on note chase, we'll hit crash 1. So there's that, what that sounds like. If I go, oh, I gotta go down. So let me hit crash again. So obviously if we change it, you can kind of hear how it diminishes. Obviously now if you hit this one, it's gonna go up. They've got some that are just plain set, linear, it's just kind of a straight. You really have to have an ear for it. Let's see, then there's a consistent. You can really hear just a flat consistent. But I myself like to use the log. Okay, so that's pretty much the basic way to set up. There's obviously a lot more to it, but so once you go through, and then obviously the input, you can go for each one. Obviously you just need to hit each pad. As long as you got the note chase on, you can hit each one. Then just make sure you hit down, and then you can change it to whatever you like. Like I said, I prefer the logs for most of them. Okay, then I had a question of what my custom setup is for when I record. Okay, actually, one thing before I leave that, this is how you save. So when you're all done, you'll hit the store button. So and then it says store settings. You're going to hit F1. Hit OK. Actually, if you exit and then you hit store, you hit drum kit, and you go copy. Actually, you can name. So now you can name whatever you want it to be. And then you can just hit OK. And then store, which will be F3 or F4. And then I'll say override, hit yes. It's JFault. So now 108 is JFault, and it's pretty much what we set up. And that's pretty much the basic setup. So now for what I've got, I use the pingy snare. There's also a way you can take previous setups and save them. Let's say you like the funk snap. Let's say you like the snare in that, which I hate that. That's a terrible snare. Let's go to funk feet. Same damn one. That's pretty bland. Let's say, okay, you like the guitar jam. Got the snare with the guitar power chord in there. You can also then go to store, and then you hit drum kit. Okay, so you got 68 there, and then you can go down, hit down, and then you go and you spin the wheel, and you can go to basically a new setup, one that's blank, and then you can hit copy, or you can rename it, and then hit yes. So now if I go up to 111, ooh, too far, there's guitar jam, and now I can edit it. Let's say there's a few things I like on it, but I want to change like the crash. Then obviously you can just go in, change the crash how I showed you previously, and yeah. So anyway, back to my setup. I use the pingy snare, and what I use is, okay, so for the snare I use, like I said, the Ludwig 5x14 SS. Snare rim is same thing, RS. Then we go to tom 1. I've got the Y8 by 10, then 9 by 12, 12 by 14 on tom 3, and then tom 4 I've got the 16. And then, like I said, I like to use the mute for tom 1 and the cowbell for tom 2's rim. Then my hi-hat is S Fusion 13-inch. My Crush 1 is the ZK Dark 16-inch. My Crush 2 is 16-inch darker. And then my third Crash is, I went with the 16-inch thin. And then my ride is, the H Heavy Stick 21-inch. I think that's a really good sounding ride. And then, like I said, my levels, everything's at mid, decays I don't mess with. And then exit triggering, my curve, obviously most of them are log 1 or 3. The toms I use pretty much the higher logs. Hi-hats log 1. First crash is log 1. I got log 4 on this second crash just to kind of give it a different, longer sound. And then this one I've got log 2. I kind of switched them around a little bit so it kind of just gives it a nice little change on each of them. Okay, so that's pretty much it. That answers two of the questions that I had for my subscribers. Hopefully you can understand this, and thanks for watching. And if you guys have any questions, feel free to ask.